Howdy peeps, and welcome back to the channel. And today, as promised, is review day on, well, the first for me, my first Zvezda kit. It's the Yak 130 Russian trainer. It's kind of a strange looking plane, but also a very cool and kind of cute looking one as well. Now this is, as the box says, 172. I believe it's a fairly recent release. I mean, the date on the box is 2017, but you can never really go by those. It might be the box is a new box and has 2017 on it because that's when the box was made. I don't believe so in this case. It is a relatively recent kit. I think it did come out last year. And yeah, nice box art. Paint call outs in Zvezda and Humboldt on that side of the box. A little bit of random do not eat, do not blah blah blah. Scale size is 16 centimeters long. What's that? 6.5, yeah, just under 6.5 inches. 176 parts though, so quite a high part count. And the back of the box, we have pictures of the finished kit and a bit more bump. And as I've seen with other people who've had Zvezda kits, I know it's a silly thing, but kudos for the boxing, because what we get is a Revell box. Let's be honest, that is what Revell class is good enough packaging for most of their kits. But inside that we get a sturdy corrugated cardboard top opening box, which protects the kit beautifully. And inside we have our instructions and all our bits of plastic. So let's put this to one side and start looking at the sprues. Move things about. We've got actually quite a few sprues in here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like 8, maybe 9 sprues, including the clear parts. We're on to another winner, heat sealed bags, which means no annoying staples getting in the way. Although not packaged individually, which would be ideal, but 172 kit, so it's not a huge amount that's going to get damaged. We'll bin the bags. I don't think it's going to be long before I build this. So first bag, 2 main sprues and some rather confusing parts, because as we'll see in a bit, this kit does come with the full engine and intakes. Just zoom in a little. So pokey device or paintbrush. So the upper wing section and the centre part of the fuselage. We have the 2 sides of the nose and the 2 sides of the tail section, and I think that might be the underneath. So if we start out with the detail wise, we've got very faint, shallow but crisp panel lines on the wings. Bit heavier in places, but I guess they are for to designate panels that do come off or open up regularly, rather than large parts of the wings that aren't meant to move or be taken off too often. We got the air brake detail there. Again, not spectacular. Well, I say again, it's not spectacular, but it is there. So if you do want to pose it with the air brake open, you're all good. Over here to the sides of the nose, providing they line up. I've seen a couple of these being built, and they do seem to go together quite well, so I'm not too worried about it. Nice mix of raised and recessed detail. Same for the tail sections. some of the landing gear parts down here, and what I'm guessing are gear bay doors or flaps maybe. All sorts of random bits, parts of the instrument binnacle, or the bit that goes over the eyepiece, the combing, that's it, and then parts of the intakes. And as you can see, we have no ejector pin marks on the inside of the intake there whatsoever, which is always good. When we flip the sprue over, yes, we've got all the ejector pin marks, but they are all in places you're not going to see, hopefully. And I say, it does all look pretty nice. Some of the panel lines, you might struggle to pick a wash up in them, they are very faint. But you should be able to rescribe them a little deeper if you want. And as they're already there, it's not going to be too tricky to do that if you want to. So let's sprue one out of the way. Just trying to find space at the moment to put things because I'm a bit limited. Got 3 builds on the go and one of them is rather large. And we have the second sprue. Upside down, but never mind. Or is it? No, it's right way up. For which we have, I'm guessing, 2 different versions of the wings. As we appear to have 2 different sets of wings here. So, pass. A few more parts which I have no idea, probably landing gear, various struts, very fine and delicately detailed. We have some plumbing for the engine, more landing gear parts, the instrument panel with the head-up displays or the touch screens, wheels. How do I forget what wheels are called? No. Possibly bombs or some kind of drop tanks, landing gear covers, horizontal stabilizers, the engine fans, both compressor and whichever the other one is, and they're nicely detailed, very crisp. Yes, yeah. And the 2-seat cockpit tub, which for 172 plane, it does look really rather nice. It's got switches and buttons and all sorts of stuff on there, and it's very crisp. Again, at this scale, is there any point adding resin? Would it? No. It might have more detail, but would you be able to paint it or see it? Or but then we have some more parts for the intakes. If we flip over, hopefully, yeah. Still all the ejector pins are out of the way in places you're not going to see, and there's certainly none on the inside of the intakes, which is always a good thing. Detail on the underside of the cockpit as well, so I'm guessing that's the inside of the front landing gear bay. So, oh, excuse me, all looking good on that sprue as well. It's looking a rather nice little kit at the moment. I believe that is most of the actual plane itself. What we have here is 2 identical sprues. So we'll only pop one out. I will zoom in for these because we have a rather nice, again for the scale, rather nice ejector seat, which you can see there, and a 4-part pilot figure as well, which also looks quite nicely detailed. And we also have a rocket, bombs, pylons, missiles, that kind of stuff, control sticks, lots of fiddly little parts, which is always good. See the missiles, the pylons, bomb, more missile and pylon, I have to say I'm really quite impressed with that pilot. And we do have 2 sprues of this, so we can have the front and rear. We can have the pilot and back seat driver, as it were. Co-pilot, I know. But yeah, he is really well. Actually, I'm very impressed with the pilot, especially in comparison to an Airfix pilot in 172, which is just an amorphous blob. So yeah, more thumbs up for that. For not only including a pilot, but actually including decent ones. And the third bag is going to be ordnance. Yes, more ordnance. Oh, which we actually have 4 sprues in here, I think. Yes. 3 of which I guess are going to be the same sprue. No, 2 are the same. So we can leave that one to one side. And we'll just look at these 2 little ones first. We'll get them in the shot. We'll do one at a time. So we have more multi-part bombs with separate tail fins and etc. And again, you see on the mould there, 2017, so it is a last year's kit, as it were. And absolutely nothing wrong with any of those. They're looking really rather nice. And we have another one with more bombs. As you can see, we've got the separate fins, tail rings. So yeah, really nice. Again, and then we come to the third and final sprue of ordnance. And on this one comes a very pleasant surprise, because I am a fan of rocket pods. I know they're not the most effective of weapons, especially on a modern day plane, but look at those rocket pod tips. They are stunning. Especially for the scale. If I turn them sideways on, if it will focus on those rather than what's behind them. There we go. Beautifully moulded. And then the other parts, so we've got the exhaust vents for those. We have the exhaust vents for, I think they're the exhaust vents, they might be the noses for another one. We'll have a look. No, they're the exhaust vents for the other type. More bombs, fins, the bodies for the rocket pods themselves. Not a huge amount of detail on them, but it's there. And if we flip the sprue over, the nose cones for the larger diameter, smaller quantity rocket pods. And again, they're beautifully moulded as well. Not moulded with any ordnance in them, but hey, at 172 I'm not going to complain about that. And for plastic pieces, last bit is the clear parts, and these come in a Ziploc bag so we can keep them safe. We have basically just the canopy, a couple of lights and head-up display, I'm guessing, or some such. No centre seams on the canopies. They looks to be relatively thin, nice and clear, good clarity. No obvious big blemishes. And you might just about be able to make out, if I put my hand behind it maybe, get the shadows just right, we have the deck cord moulded into the canopy as well. Now, I don't think we're going to get a decal for that. Let me just grab a cocktail stick and see whether that's raised or recessed. I think that might be raised. Which could make it a bit interesting to try and paint if it is raised. It looks like it may well be. So it might be a case of just being really careful, or maybe just using a marker pen, drawing it rather than trying to paint it with a brush. But either way, it's a nice addition to have. And as I say, they're nice looking clear parts, and kept separate in a Ziploc bag so you can keep them safe and pop them back in there when you're finished using them. Then to, I think the decals are in here. Yes, they are. And extremely shiny decals. Now I'm going to zoom us back out a little here because I can't see what's going on. Pop them in the shot, and as you can see, they are very shiny. There's not a huge amount of carrier film around them. They do appear to be crisp and clean and in register. The way that decal sheet just looks, because they do look rather thin. I'm not sure whether it's the decals that are glossy and shiny or the paper. I think it might be the paper that's the glossy shiny bit. They do remind me of bergamot decals, just the way the sheet looks. That might well be, you never know. But as I say, all the stars are nice and crisp, clean. Everything appears to be well centered. There's nothing on the "huh" as it were. Same with numbers. Pylon ones, stencils. And as I was saying about, I can't remember which kit it was I was reviewing or talking about the other week. Might have been part of the build series. But what you can see here, we've got marking 1, marking 2 and 3. And they're demarked on the decal sheet, so if you know you're doing marking scheme 1, you can cut the entire section for marking schemes 2 and 3 out and just forget about it, which, you know, is to me is a good thing anyway. The smaller words you can read, well, the larger writing. The smaller ones are obviously just scribbles or lines or blur, but you never read them anyway at that size. You probably need an electron microscope to read anything that small, especially with my eyesight. And last but not least, the instructions, which I'll zoom us back out for fully if I get the right direction. No, wrong way. There we are. So we have a bit of bump about the Yak 130. Unfortunately, yes, the instructions were bent in the box, so they kind of want to do that themselves. Let's see if we can bend them back the other way. Give them a good fold. There we are. That's got it. Showing version 1 and version 2 at the bottom. One which is canopy open, air brake open, landing gear down. The other one is everything shut up and on a stand, but the stand is an optional extra. Nice that they actually do one though, and give you the option to have it canopy open and everything. And gear up, I know some people that the gear up option will appeal to. Open it up, we get a sprue map, basic how to remove parts, clean them up and attach them. A little thing, exclamation mark, to glue a detail on the specified place. And the question mark is a variant. Right. So it looks like we're starting with the engine. It's a little confusing. So the sub-assemblies are called out here. So we've got 2A, 5A, 6A, and then the shaded, or 1A, yeah. So the shaded section shows you the sub-assembly and then the bits you're adding. As we can see, we're going through this is all the engine. So basically got a full engine in it for a 172 anyway, which is quite impressive. So we're only putting that part on if we're assembling version 2. Then the centre base of the cockpit, yeah, version 2 is for putting it on the flight stand. So assembling the lower part of the chassis, fuselage, sorry, and the 2 side parts with the intakes in, or the engines, sorry. And on to the next page. And again, the same thing. We've got our sub-assemblies down the side, which is kind of a good, nice way of doing it. I sort of makes the main instruction step less cluttered if they can just point out, use this sub-assembly, which is over there. But we're going through the cockpit. Obviously, twin-seater. Popping both seats in. Front landing gear attaches to the bottom of that before it's gone in. Got a funny feeling I might leave that off. At least until I got the fuselage together anyway. And then we can see, we're on a sort of semi-kitty hawky style of construction of the fuselage, because we already have the 2 side parts and the lower part. Then we get the 2 sides of the nose cone and the upper part, and it all joins together in the middle. So if it's well moulded and all fits together, that won't be a problem. If it doesn't quite go together properly and we get a step or anything, that could be a pig. But I've not heard anyone say, oh my god, it's horrific. And we might be able to hide most of it up anyway, because the upper wings go slap over the top of it all. So yeah, we may be okay. And then it's attaching the lower wings and the various control surfaces and the little bits and pieces, landing gear going in, pylons, fiddly sticky outy bits. And we have the armament variants, which I will probably just make up my own and go with 4 rocket pods and a couple of missiles. You never know, we shall see. I tend to make them up. Go, which are the coolest ordnance that came in the box, and I'll use those. Or buy aftermarket rocket pods. Final assembly is air brake on, pilots in, giving us colour callouts on the pilot, which will be in either Zvezda or Humbrol, so we'll have to adjust our colorations accordingly. And we have the stencil callouts, or as they call them, technical inscriptions, which is probably less confusing than calling it a stencil. Quite a lot on the rocket pods, but overall not a huge amount on the plane, so that's not a problem. Oh, excuse me. And then we have our colour callouts, one in whatever colour number 14 is. Is it 14? Yeah, tank grey according to this. And we have one in 30, 13 and 23. Gull grey, aircraft blue and duck egg blue. That could be quite cool. It's not telling us to paint the underside a different colour though, which is a little strange, but never mind. Then we have one in, oh, what's that? Light green, gull grey and light green again, which is with a medium grey underside. As you can see, not having the colour callouts in colour means you have to refer back, and then can get a little kerfuddling. But we shall see. I shall Google and image search and see what cool coloured Yak 130s I can come up with. So that concludes what we get in the box. Now I got mine from Amazon Prime. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. And I have to say, it looks to be a nice kit. How it goes together I can't quantify yet. I mean, I've not built any Zvezda kits, as I said, so yeah, I know some of their older ones got a bit of abuse. The newer ones seem to be going down quite well in general, so I'll let you know when I get it built. But anyway, that's my impressions of the Zvezda 172 Yak 130 in the actual code name of the Yak 130 is the Mitten, because generally because it's kind of small, cute and furry. But yeah, hope you liked what you've seen. Have a good day, enjoy your modelling, have fun, peace out. If you liked it, click like. If you liked it a lot, click subscribe, there'll be plenty more. Rock on, and bye bye.